The Puppet Player by Angelina Weld Grunke. One of the first African American women to have one of her plays publicly performed and was a prominent figure in the Harlem Renaissance. Sometimes it seems as though some puppet player, a clenched claw cupping a craggy chin, sits just beyond the border of our scene, twitching the strings with slow, sardonic grin. Thoughts by Myra Viola Wilds, a Kentucky poet who authored a poetry collection in her own hand after losing her eyesight due to overwork as a dressmaker. What kind of thoughts now do you carry in your travels day by day? Are they bright and lofty visions, or neglected, gone astray? Matters not how great in fancy or what deeds of skill you've wrought. Man, though high may be his station, is no better than his thoughts. Catch your thoughts and hold them tightly. Let each one an honor be. Purge them, scourge them, burnish brightly. Then in love, set each one free. If You Knew by Ruth Muskrat Bronson, a poet from the Delaware Nation Reservation, remembered her for her work as a leader in Native American education and as an activist for Native American rights. If you could know the empty ache of loneliness, masked well behind the calm, indifferent face of us who pass you by in studied hurriedness, intent upon our way, lest in the little space of one forgetful moment, hungry eyes implore you to be kind, to open up your heart a little more. I'm sure you'd smile a little kindlier sometimes to those of us you've never seen before. If you could know the eagerness we'd grasp, the hand you'd give us in friendliness, what vast potential friendship in that clasp. We press and love you for your gentleness. If you could know the wide, wide reach of love that simple friendliness could teach, I'm sure you'd say, hello, my friend, sometimes. And now and then extend a hand in friendliness to each. Through Time and Bitter Distance by Emily Pauline Johnson, a Mohawk poet, artist, and performer. Unknown to you, I walk the cheerless shore. The cutting blast, the hurl of biting brine, may freeze and still, and bind the waves at war. Ere you will ever know, O heart of mine, that I have sought, reflected in the blue of these sea depths, some shadow of your eyes. Have hope, the laughing waves would sing of you, but this is all my starving sight decries. Far out at sea a sail bends to the freshening breeze, yields to the rising gale that sweeps the seas. Yields as a bird wind-tossed to saltish waves that fling their spray, whose rime and frost like crystals cling. To canvas, mast and spar, till gleaming like a gem, she sinks beyond the far horizon's hem. Lost to my longing sight, and nothing left to me, save an incoming night, an empty sea. Before Quiet by Hazel Hall, a much-loved poet in her lifelong home state of Oregon, with the Oregon Book Award named jointly for Hall and poet William Stafford. I will think of water lilies growing in a darkened pool, and my breath shall move like water, and my hands be limp and cool. It shall be as though I waited in a wooden place alone. I will learn the peace of lilies and will take it for my own. If a twinge of thought, if yearning, come like wind into this place, I will bear it like the shadow of a leaf across my face. Escape by Georgia Douglas Johnson, a poet of the Harlem Renaissance. Shadows, shadows, hug me round, so that I shall not be found by sorrow. She pursues me everywhere. I can't lose her anywhere. Fold me in your black abyss. She will never look in this. Shadows, shadows, hug me round, in your solitude profound. Sadness by William Saffier, a Romanian-born poet and painter. It is a huge certain, stretched at a distance around me. Aimless gypsies crawl up and over the curtain. They are my days. They neither sing nor laugh, but hop over the top of my sadness. Here and there, one wears a gay shirt. He is faster than the rest. Even in my sleep, closed eyes, I cannot pierce this drapery. Someday I will wind a child's smile around my face, and thus disguised, slip through the curtain and jump. Where? Ah, yes, where? On Joy and Sorrow by Khalil Gibran, one of the best-selling poets in the world, publishing several books in Arabic and English, which ruminate on love, longing, and death, and explore religious themes. Then a woman said, "Speak to us of joy and sorrow." And he answered, "Your joy is your sorrow unmasked, and the self-same well from which your laughter rises was oftentimes filled with your tears. And how else can it be? The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Is not the cup that holds your wine the very cup that was burned in the potter's oven? It is not the lute that soothes your spirit, the very wood that was hollowed with knives? When you are joyous, look deep into your heart, and you shall find it is only that which has been giving you sorrow that is giving you joy. When you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you shall see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. Some of you say, joy is greater than sorrow, and others say, nay, sorrow is the greater. But I say unto you, they are inseparable. Together they come, and when one sits alone with you at your board, remember that the other is asleep upon your bed. Verily you are suspended like scales between your sorrow and your joy. Only when you are empty are you at standstill and balanced. When the treasure keeper lifts you to weigh his gold and his silver, needs must your joy or your sorrow rise or fall. Sunshine After Cloud by Josephine DeHerd, a North Carolina poet and school teacher. Come, Will, let's be good friends again. Our wrongs let's be forgetting, for words bring only useless pain, so wherefore then be fretting? Let's lay aside imagined wrongs and ne'er give away to greeting. Life should be filled with joyous songs, no time left for deceiving. I'll try and not give way to wrath, nor be so often crying. There must be some thorns be in our path. Let's move them now by trying. How foolish, like a pair we are, to fume about a letter. Time is so precious, you and me, must spend ours doing better. The Plains of Peace by Olivia Ward Bushmans, an African and Montauk poet. Again my fancy takes its flight and soars away on thoughtful wing. Again my soul thrills with delight, and this is the fancy theme I sing. And from earthly scenes awhile I find release, and dwell upon the restful plains of peace. The plains of peace are passing fair, where naught disturbs and naught can harm. I find no sorrow, woe, or care. These all are lost in perfect calm. Bright are the joys and pleasures never cease, for those who dwell on the plains of peace. No scorching sun or blistering storm, no burning sand or desert drear, no fell disease or wasting form to mar the glowing beauty here. Decay and ruin ever must decrease here on the fertile, healthful plains of peace. What rare companionship I find, what hours of social joy I spend, what restfulness pervades my mind, communing with congenial friend. True happiness seems ever to increase, while dwelling here upon the plains of peace. Ambitions too are realized, and that which I have sought on earth I find, at last, idealized. My longings ripen into worth. My fondest hopes no longer fear to cease, but bloom forth brightly on the plains of peace. 'Tis by my fancy, yet 'tis true, that somewhere having done with earth, we shall another course pursue. According to our aim or worth, our souls from mortal things must find release, and dwell immortal on the plains of peace. And that is all the time we have today, dear listeners and readers. I hope you enjoyed your stay, and hopefully we get to see you again.